All right, now we're going to look at the different types of lipids. So first of all, what are lipids? So lipids are these hydrophobic molecules that contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and sometimes phosphates. All right, so all lipids have this specific structure, okay? They're hydrophobic. Does that mean they can dissolve in water, or do they precipitate out? They're insoluble, so they precipitate out in water, all right? And there's 4 specific ones that I want you to know. The first one is the triglycerides, the phospholipids, the steroids, or the sterols, another name for it, and the eicosanoids, all right? So what's really important about the first one we spoke of are the triglycerides. So I'm going to label them TG, okay? Another name for these are also called neutral fats. And their main function is protection, insulation, and certain kinds of padding. So protection, it protects you from certain environmental factors. You have insulation, so during changes in temperature, and also energy storage as well. So it stores energy, and that's really important when we look at certain kind of other metabolic pathways. So energy. So now, next type of molecule here is the phospholipids. So phospholipids basically make up our entire cell membrane. So the cell membrane, right, so it's hydrophilic or hydrophobic. It's a hydrophobic region, okay, and it makes majority of the cell membrane. So the phospholipid bilayer of the cell membrane is made up of this. So this is the one exception to the rule, the lipid that has phosphate groups that are present in their structure, okay? Then also we have the steroids, okay? So steroids, what are they? Or sterols, same thing. If you ever hear those words, they're used interchangeably, okay? So steroids come in, and basically all steroids are the precursor of all steroid hormones, right? So they generate all the hormones of steroids, like testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, cortisol. All the precursors are from this lipid, cholesterol. All right, so everything comes from cholesterol. That's why another name for them is sterols here, okay? And so the examples that we talked about were what? We said testosterone, right? So this is a male sex hormone that gives secondary sex characteristics. We have estrogen, female sex hormone. We said cortisol. That's the stress hormone. So during severe stress, you secrete this, okay? And then finally, we have the eicosanoids. So the eicosanoids are responsible to generate some kind of inflammation, some kind of contraction, or some kind of immune response, right? And there's a lot of eicosanoids that are presented here. So people, for example, whenever they get certain kinds of achy feelings, there is a certain eicosanoid called prostaglandin. Prostaglandin is a pro-inflammatory cytokine that comes in, a pro-inflammatory lipid that comes in and generates some kind of immune response for inflammation. So what happens whenever you get really achy, or if you get a headache because of some kind of inflammation? What do you usually take? You take some kind of Advil, right? And what is Advil? Advil, these are basically these COX-1 and 2 inhibitors, where it decreases the production of prostaglandin. So what happens to your inflammation whenever you take Advil? Inflammation goes down. So what happens to the pain? Theoretically, it usually goes down, depending on the dose. And so these are the 4 main types of lipids that are found in our bodies.